Now, away from security, let's turn attention now to Niger State, where it's 6 days after the flood in Mokwa, and the search for over 100 missing persons continues. The stench of decomposing bodies buried under the rubble now permeates the air in the community, causing fears of a possible disease outbreak. Chinemi Bamiyi reports.
The death toll from the Mokwa flood continues to rise, with over 100 persons still missing. The air is now filled with a stench believed to be from decomposing bodies buried beneath the rubble. This is a sharp reflection of the scale of tragedy. Here, rescue teams are battling to repair this damaged bridge, one of the many pieces of infrastructure still hanging on after being hit by the force of flood waters. In the early hours of Monday, survivors gathered once again, hoping to receive updates, expecting that more bodies might be recovered. Among them is Abdulrazak Yakubu, the only surviving member of his family. 9 relatives swept away by the flood. So far, only one body has been found. "I am truly depressed with what happened," he said. "I just have to take it, knowing that your relations, younger sister and brothers were drowned, leaving you alone. You know you can't be happy." I returned to the home of the Sadkin Hausawa, Tanko Bala, who has been coordinating local rescue efforts, to find out whether any relief materials have arrived.
Lema tried, because Lema came to we and they showed me 200 pieces of bag of rice, 25 kg, and mantras. They brought mantras, actually. I saw mantras with my eyes, but they refused to give them because they say nobody in the camp. Nobody in the camp, share with people. And then bring it to them here.
So what happens is that when we attempt to do that distribution in the initial stage, everybody was coming in and we are going to miss the target. So the committee was put in place, comprising of security organization, NGOs here, NEMA, SEMA, IOM, Red Cross, and other response agency, to do detailed assessment and really find out, actually identify the real people of which they have done.
Meanwhile, the First Lady of Niger State, Fatima Bago, visited the area to commiserate with the people and also gave a cash donation.
It's really not a sight to behold. But there's nothing we can say. It has already happened. We only advise them to be cautious henceforth, going forward, to avoid building on waterways, because these are some of the things that causes this kind of havoc to happen in this magnitude.
At the scene, health concerns are growing, with decomposing bodies still buried under debris and no sanitation measures in place. Survivors fear an outbreak of disease.
People hear this smelling, maybe another sickness, you will catch people.
So we are going to work closely with all the relevant agencies to ensure that there is a clean mop-up. In this phase, we are doing like sort of search and rescue and then responding to emergency need. But of course, cleaning efforts are very much underway.
There's a huge stench building up in this place. Evacuation effort must be doubled to ensure that there's no outbreak of disease around here. The people say that they can't do that on their own. They await emergency agencies to bring in heavy payloaders or excavators to dig up this place and ensure that environment is fumigated and safe for them. Chinemi Bamiyi, TVC News, Mokwa.
All right, our senior reporter Chinemi Bamiyi joins me on the news at 12. He's live at Mokwa. Chinemi, the last time you and I spoke yesterday, you talked about the very poor inflow of aid for the victims. And then you mentioned that a wife of the governor who was there at the time was the first person to come in with any kind of aid. I wanted to confirm from you if there has been any improvement in that regard.
Hi, Precious. It's good to join you today again. Since we last spoke, a lot has definitely changed. Today, this morning, in the early hours of the morning, we're beginning to see aid coming to this area. Right behind me, you could see bags of rice that are brought to distribute to the people here. They said that they're setting up different camps. Since the IDP, there's no hope for setting up an IDP camp. They are setting up bases where they can distribute this aid. So this is one base. There are 3 more bases just around this vicinity too, based on nearness to to house, based on nearness to the house of their location. So they've made a list, so if your house is or was around this place, you would be collecting your relief materials from here. And if you live away in the other end, you'll be collecting from that place. It seems like a pretty much good strategy to deliver the aid. However, this is what we've seen today. I spoke with the coordinator here. He said there are other non-food items like blankets and mattresses, but we're yet to see them though. But we're monitoring the distribution so far.
And then the other issue you and I also spoke about was the issue of recovery of bodies. And you mentioned that in your report today, how the stench from the decomposing bodies is creating concerns or generating concerns over disease outbreak. Do we have members of NSEMA now or any sort of emergency response, trying to recover those bodies? Actually, I was asking you about the bodies. You had mentioned that they were decomposing and creating concerns over disease outbreak. If there is any sort of effort today to recover those bodies.
So far, rescue effort is still going on by the locals, and concerning this area where decomposed bodies are buried under the debris, we've not seen any effort to excavate them yet. And it's rained today in Mokwa, and the water will still move through the same direction, which makes it it makes it harmful, as the water moves from here to other neighborhoods, because it's definitely going to be washing the field underneath the ground into other areas. So it's important that excavation should begin. We've not seen that going on here. We expect that it will begin, but we've not seen anything like that happening today.
And what are you hearing from the locals? What's their greatest concern now, beyond the recovery efforts of the decomposing bodies?
Yeah. Any form of shelter. Anyway, the situation here is quite dynamic. Since the people are not staying on the camp, they are staying with their relations. They need some form of rebuilding plan. The Minister for Works, the Minister for State for Works will be here today, I learned, and also the Minister for Agri, I learned they are on their way to this place. I'm sure, and the Deputy Governor, I'm sure one of the things we're going to be asking them or talking about is rebuilding plan. How long will it take to rebuild, especially the infrastructure that was damaged, the piece of bridge in this place that they're trying to fix? How quick will that happen? To my right, you see there's a large expanse of gully erosion. Is there any plan to start building that place immediately? That's what these people are looking for. I expect that within this period, some form of plan should be going on to rebuild. That's what the people need right now.
All right, Chinemi, thank you so much for the update. We're hoping that these people get the relief that they need. And thank you so much for your reporting. We know you bring us more updates when you have them. Our senior reporter live for us in Mokwa, Niger State, where there have been a devastating flood. Chinemi Bami.